I have shared on this site before and I am truly starting to believe that I am a sensitive. This is not something I want and it is not something that I like to dwell on. I have 2 daughters, they are 11 and 2. My 11-year-old has never been afraid of anything. She never wanted to sleep with a light on or climb into bed with me. Even as toddler she was independent and fearless. My 2-year-old daughter started out the same way. I could put her to bed and not hear a peep out of her. She was happy and content alone in her room. I have always sensed things and felt things for as long as I can remember. I have largely ignored these things because I don't want to feel it or deal with it. I'm not ashamed to say it scares me and I want nothing to do with it. Like I said, I have had experiences, but I believed things had been pretty quiet for me in my present home. We have lived there for about 1.5 years. Memorial Day I was home with my girls and my husband had to work. I was in my bedroom ironing. My 2-year-old was on my bed playing with blocks. My dog was snoozing on the floor. My 11-year-old was in her room doing her own thing. Suddenly, my dog jumped up from his nap barking and at full alert. At that same time the TV in my bedroom turned on. The remote was still sitting on the dresser, far out of reach of me or my daughter. I thought, that was strange, but dismissed it as nothing and went about my day. This Saturday, 2 weeks after the TV incident, my 2-year-old was happily playing in her room with baby dolls. I walked out of her room to go put away some towels I was folding. I had been out of her room for maybe 3-4 minutes. This is not unusual, she will play in her room independently, when she started screaming for me and came running down the hallway and literally leapt into my arms. Something had clearly frightened her. All she would say is, "Man, scare me." Now she will not go into her room. She cries hysterically if I even try. Looking back, I now know that I sense things about the house. There were times I thought I saw things out of the corner of my eye. One night as I was falling asleep I know I felt something tug my foot. One time I was in the laundry room and the door slammed on its own. All of these things I dismissed as my imagination. I was dozing off, so I must have been dreaming, a draft. I am rational and don't wish to have me or my family frightened, but I think it is undeniable that there is something strange. The thing is, I don't think it matters where I am, spirits are everywhere and I feel them. What I am starting to believe is my 2-year-old can sense and see these things like me and my 11-year-old cannot. Does that seem possible? Also, as a side note, I live in a neighborhood in the New Orleans area where people died during Hurricane Katrina. I don't believe anyone in the actual house died, but I know they did in my neighborhood. We are the first to live in the remodeled home since the storm. Any advice would be helpful. I am not a ghost hunter and do not seek these things out. I just don't want my little girl to be afraid.